So one of the things that set theory and Venn diagram are very helpful in is understanding surveys and breaking them down so that you can figure out exactly what information is being given to you. Let's take a look at the following example so that we can see how we are going to approach these kinds of problems. So this is what a survey looks like. We have information given about different numbers of people who say different things about whatever the topics are. This particular example has to do with drink preferences and whether people like juice, water, or soda. You might see an example on movies that people like to see, or books that people like to read, or music that people like to listen to. But all of this information is given to you. And the first thing you need to do is you need to actually go ahead and translate this information into symbols. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we understand that J is going to stand for juice. W will stand for water. And S will stand for soda. So once we have that, we can actually go ahead and we can translate the information that they have. So the first thing we see is that 60 students are interviewed. So that means that we have 60 in total. So that means that 60 is going to be the number of elements in our universe, because that's how many students altogether are interviewed. Next, we see that 36 said that they like to drink juice. So 36 is going to be the number of elements in J. 37 will be the number of elements in W. And 37 will also be the number of elements in S. Next, we see 32 said they like to drink soda and juice. And remember, and in set theory is going to be intersection. And so we have 32 is going to be the number of elements in S intersect J. Next, we have 25 is equal to the number of elements in S intersect W. 27 is equal to the number of elements in W intersect J. And last, 24 is going to be the number of elements in the intersection of S, J, and W. So that's the first thing we need to do. We must go ahead and translate all of the information into symbols. The next thing we need to do is we need to work with our Venn diagram. It is very important that you label your Venn diagram correctly. So we're going to call this circle here S, this circle here J, and this circle here W, and this is our universe out here. Now, whenever you want to solve a survey, you always start from the smallest area and work your way out. So the smallest area that we have here is this area here. This is the intersection of all three. And so we know that there are 24 elements in the intersection of all three. And so we're going to put a check mark next to it to indicate that we've already used that piece of information. Next, we have that there are 27 elements in W intersect J. But when I look at W intersect J, which is this region here that I'm highlighting, I see that there are actually already 24 elements taken care of. So if I do 27 minus the 24, that leaves me with 3 elements here, and that is the total 27 elements in W intersect J. Next, let's look at S intersect W. S intersect W is this region here. There are already 24 being accounted for, so if there are 25 altogether, that leaves me with just 1 in this region. Next, let's take a look at S intersect J, which is this region here that I'm highlighting. We already have 24 taken care of, which means of the 32, there are only 8 left. Now, it's important to look at the big circles. So it tells us that the number of elements in S is 37. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't mean the number of elements that are only in this area here of S. It's in the entire circle of S. So if there are 37 elements in S, and we have already taken care of, let's see, 24 plus 8 is 32 plus 1 is 33, that leaves over 4 elements in this region here. Similarly, for the number of elements in W, we're looking at this entire circle, and we see we already have 24 plus 1 plus 3, which is 28 elements taken care of in this region. So if W has 37, that leaves me with 9 elements here. And then last, we're going to take a look at J. J has 36 elements altogether, but I see that we have 8 plus 3 plus 24, which is 35 elements. That leaves me with just 1 in this region. Now, you might think that your Venn diagram is complete and we now have the information that we need. However, what we're missing is this last piece of information, and that is that there are 60 elements in the entire universe. So that's this information here. Which means if we add up everything that is in all of these circles, there are 50 elements in everything that we have listed in here, and since there are 60 altogether in the region, that leaves us 10 people out here. And those 10 people essentially are people who do not drink soda, water, or juice. Once we have this Venn diagram filled in, we can then go ahead and answer questions on the diagram. For example, you might have a question that says, how many people drink only soda? Well, only soda would be this region here. These are the people who drink soda but don't drink anything else, and the answer would be 4. Or you might ask how many people drink water but don't drink soda. That would be these two regions here. These are the people who are in the water circle but are outside the soda circle, and that answer would be 12. So once the Venn diagram is filled in, you can then go ahead and answer questions. So to recap, in order to use set theory in order to understand surveys, we need to first translate the information into symbols. Second, fill in a Venn diagram, and remember you always start from the smallest region, which is usually the intersection of everything, and move your way outward. And then last, you're going to answer any questions by finding the corresponding regions.